Cyber Shadow is the newest 8-bit side-scrolling action platformer. You play as Shadow. Awakening from your stasis pod, you find that the robo-apocalypse has happened, your clan has been wiped out, and it's up to you to stop the evil Dr. Progen and find your leader, the Master. You'll accomplish this by running, jumping, and slashing your way through the game's 10 different chapters. One look at Cyber Shadow is going to bring immediate comparisons to Ninja Gaiden, and while you are controlling a hyper-agile ninja, this game actually has more in common with Natsume's Shatterhand on the NES. Although Cyber Shadow does have one thing in common with Ninja Gaiden, but we'll get into that later in the video. Like Shatterhand, your power-ups take the form of robot sentries that perform different attacks, and you collect currency throughout every level that can be used to purchase a health refill at various checkpoints. In fact, some of them require you to purchase the health refill upgrade, otherwise you'll be respawning at about half health with no clean ring in sight. Unlike Shatterhand, Cyber Shadow is without a level select, but it does have some light Metroidvania mechanics. I say light because your progression is never really gated, requiring you to backtrack, but you can return to earlier levels after requiring new power-ups to travel down previously blocked paths to gather some additional health and skill points. The game's story is told with a seamless blend of exposition, often beginning in-engine, and sliding into beautifully rendered cutscenes for the harder-hitting story beats. The smaller details conveyed through what I imagine to be an NES version of audio logs. Past experiences can be witnessed by sensing the final moments of a dead NPC, and by reading logs from numerous computer terminals scattered throughout the levels. Cyber Shadow leans heavily into its 8-bit style, but it's more than just an aesthetic choice, as the level layouts, enemy placement, and overall game feel reflect design sensibilities from the late 80s and early 90s. The devs at Mechanical Head Games do a good job of replicating the looks of the NES classics, while using current tech to achieve sprite sizes and fluid animation on par with contemporary works. The blacks, purples, and greens, hyper-detailed environments, and screen-filling bosses all come together with the pulsing chiptune soundtrack to achieve an 8-bit ninja synesthesia. The game pulls you into a flow state of double jumps and shadow slashes and a melding of fighting and level traversal. To put it simply, controlling Shadow feels great. His basic sword slash is fast and has nice reach. He has a nice floaty jump that allows for correction mid-air, the hit detection is super tight, the sub-weapon power-ups all feel unique and are fun to use. And as I referenced earlier, you eventually unlock a charge slash, sprint, double jump, and wall slide to round out your moveset. They all combine to make the game feel ultra satisfying, and you're going to need every tool in your arsenal. See, most 8-bit games used to have a kind of inverse difficulty. The traversal of the level was typically the most difficult task, and the boss fight was a bit of a respite. Reaching the boss was a kind of a reward for beating the level, an easy fight that was more spectacle than challenge. Not in Cyber Shadow. Levels can be brutally difficult, and you finish them only to be faced with an equally, if not more challenging boss. No respite here. That is the one thing this game has most in common with Ninja Gaiden. Its difficulty. We're talking whole levels filled with instant death spikes, bottomless pits, and uber-fast flying enemies that exist solely to knock you into both. All of which are capped off with multi-stage bosses that get faster and more aggressive as their health diminishes. Cyber Shadow's later levels aren't just hard. They are hard the same way devs made Western NES games more difficult so they couldn't be beaten during a rental period. They're maliciously difficult, like dying on the final boss in Ninja Gaiden only to be kicked back to the beginning of the last stage. The final stretch of this game is going to be too challenging for the average gamer, and that's the only thing that stops me from recommending this to everyone. Cyber Shadow is a great game. Its presentation is slick, the story is engaging, and it's a blast to control. But it's been a long time since a game has made my thumbs ache the way this one did. It's an A+ experience, made for old school gamers looking for a challenge.